time, I remember the Jamestown, Guyana situation with Jim Jones. Of course, I never will forget the David Koresh situation, the Mormons a year ago. And, if you look at the stories behind these recent people, a lot of the... no, actually, I want to back up. If I knew I was doing this talk, I would have worn my T-shirt that says Charismatic Cult Leader. Yeah. But these were people who, usually they had a troubled childhood. They were either abused or picked on in their early life, come from broken homes, and then ended up in situations where they had great power and people followed. And I don't mean great power as being leadership positions or anything, but I mean not leadership positions as far as countries, but at least small gullible groups. Jim Jones, if you looked at him, he started a church in Indiana, where I'm from. No connection.
So it's something in the water.
Wait, what's your real name?
What was that? Jones. Where the phrase "drink my Kool-Aid." I got Coke. That's right.
I have Kool-Aid. Oh wait, I lied.
But anyway, Jim Jones. I'll start with him. He started off as a small town minister right outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. Developed a small following. It outgrew his church. He decided, hey, if this is working out, I'm going to move to California. We're all the neutral. Well, United States is tilted that way. And ends up in California, right outside of Los Angeles, and started a church there. And what he did was he would go to all the little homeless shelters and halfway houses in the whole area, and he would start preaching to drugs. Really? That's okay. He would start doing soup kitchens and feeding the poor and the young drug addicts and stuff, to where it gave them a sense of home and family. And the whole thing that he preached was, as long as you stick together in a group, that I love you, you love each other, and he established a sense of family. Well, within a short period of time, his small group of people there grew bigger and bigger. He was the preacher to a lot of celebrities, several famous people, politicians, and so on and so on. But the main thing he preached was, and his main goal was, he would start off aiming at young people and preach, I've got your answer. If you listen to me and follow my ways, I can help you. And as long as you're with us, you're loved. David Koresh, in our recent years, basically did the same thing. He went to, he kind of did a little bit backhanded way, though. He grew up in, I think, Utah. Ended up going to a local Branch Davidian group there, more or less seduced the leader of the group. But she started giving him more and more authority over the group. And then when she died, he kind of stepped in the leadership position. What made him very popular with a lot of people, though, was the fact that he was preaching to the group. He knew the Bible inside out, forwards, backwards, could quote it any way you could imagine, but then would start putting his own interpretation of what was in there. In a real short period of time, though, he developed a lot of enemies within the group. And he said, well, my way is the only way. And then that's when they moved to Waco, Texas. That's when the Branch Davidians split. He did a lot of the same thing, too, though, that Jim Jones did. He preached to the younger people. When he left, he took the youngest members of the group, most of the widows, which was another thing, because he would play on their loneliness and vanity, and then eventually said that he was their savior. He was the second coming, to the point of he was convincing basically all the women in the group, if you sleep with me, and your child will be one of the chosen ones. in a sick, twisted way. But anyway.
I know, I mean, that's the end result, but how do these guys even start talking?
You haven't tried that one yet?
You targeted the weak people, who you find
John says he hadn't tried that yet.
Only in the or misjudged.
It doesn't work if your name's Walter.
That's right.
So what about Billy Graham then? Don't you consider him to be a cult leader?
He is.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is.
He's just not this.
Because open about it.
It's not his followers.
Does he convert backsliding?
Here is
Tequila!
here is where how cult leaders thrive.
Are you hiding that?
Liberal use of that.
First of all, a good cult leader is somebody who can stand up. They've got charisma. Now, charisma is something that you can learn, but a lot of these people are naturally charismatic. They've got a lot of energy, a lot of vitality. They're willing to stand up in front of a group of people and say, "Follow me." And wherever.
Like you.
Exactly.
Something.
But
All you'd have to do is say the word. I think you'd probably have your own cult.
probably, but I don't want one. And that's what separates a cult leader from most other charismatic people too. They love the attention. They want the power. They
You don't have your own cult, you have your own herald.
actually you can have both.
Did you just turn his neck?
Isn't it interesting
I
though,
didn't think that was
the
possible.
World Council right here, they state the difference between a cult and a religion is a cult follows a person and a religion follows a deity.
Right. But Christianity kind of follows a person who is also a deity.
Unless you're
I'm sure
Mormon.
I'm sure somebody I know might argue about that. I would agree with you, but then I'm going to get slapped when I get home. So,
Go get him, Sue.
But yeah, don't get me started on my own interpretation of Christianity. But
We don't have all night, sweetheart.
that's okay. But anyway,
Sure we did.
We need long enough for them to sober up, okay?
if I was wanting to start a
You still
cult,
got half the bottle.
if I was wanting to start my own cult, basically I would find a soapbox, figuratively and literally, go out and I would start preaching an idea to a crowd.
Yeah, but you usually find something that they're wanting. You know,
It doesn't-
something they're gullible for. They want to hear.
Like they're
We're going to give you money. We're going to help you learn how to be rich.
It doesn't matter what you believe. As long as you believe it yourself, you stand up there and start preaching an idea, somebody will eventually come along and say, I agree with you, and I'm going to follow you and help you in every way.
Yes, and your name is.
Now, if you keep saying that, eventually one person turns into two, which turns into four, and exponentially it grows.
think about the very first Sikhs.
What?
The Sikh.
Yeah.
You think how that started?
Yeah.
There was a group of people willing to give their lives up to be murdered there and then.
Mhm.
And that's what they thought was going to happen. And that's where the first Sikhs came from. So there's going to be somebody around who's going to believe in you.
Exactly. And as long as you stay true to that message, you start...
Children of the corn.
Yeah, exactly. But you get one person following you, you get two people, then it goes to four, then to six, and as long as you stick with your main idea and your core, then it keeps growing from there.
Otherwise it's called multi-level marketing.
That's it.
Pyramid, yeah.
At the beginning of it.
First of all, look at it analyze it and look at it. If you're starting to put more faith into somebody else than you are yourself, then you've got a problem. I always tell people the first person you need to consult with on anything is yourself before you rely on somebody else. If a person tries to dictate every aspect of your life, what gives another person authority to be over you? Now,
If they tell you who to sleep with and who to have babies with, they've gone too far.
yeah. But it's,
Well, true, but that's like one indicator, especially if you're female. Now, you guys, you're out of luck.
well, you also have to look at it.
There's nothing wrong with having leaders. Make a distinction between leaders and cults. Is it true?
Well, true. Well, a leader is somebody who will stand. A leader is somebody who will stand up and guide you. A leader is a cult leader is somebody who will stand up and try to control
And then there's
aspects.
Rose.
There was Rose.
Yay, Rose!
Another thing is with cult leaders is eventually somewhere along the way they will tell you that they're the only answer to whatever. They're the only person in authority to answer questions in your life, to control your life, and so on and so on. Or they will take on what they call this prophet phase of, I am speaking for whatever power.
Isn't that like every priest ever?
Yeah, exactly. But what if it's just like going to church and listening to what they have to say, and then you go back home and you're thinking, what kind of stuff were they thinking when they were getting drunk?
Well,
Because
see,
half of it,
with churches, you've got so many choices out there. If you don't agree, you just move on until you find somebody that
yeah.
says lemming.
Individual paths, but what about in our
Area of not expertise, but knowledge.
Well, you see, as Alex Rowley.
Yeah, that was classic.
He was a classic one.
Even his ship.
I'll use myself. Give me 1 second. I'll use myself as an example. I deal with students on a small scale, but I teach. However, well, Kat will give me. I'll use Kat as an example. Have I said this is the only way to do it?
No, anytime you put out any sort of exercise or things, you can do it this way, or and list 3, 4, 5 other ways.
And I give them the information. I let them find out. I let them take that information and let them run with it from that point forward. A few weeks later, I'll send out another piece of information. I don't say, okay, now do it my way or else.
But you notice that on every cult leader's business card it says the one true way trademark.
Yeah, but
And that's all they work on, isn't it? My way, there's no way.
exactly.
That's exactly the same way with the presidential election.
Okay, we're not discussing.
Yeah, we don't do politics.
Yeah, but it's the exact same way. You either want to listen to one man's bullshit, or you want to listen to someone else's.
Well,
That's where they give you write-ins.
Yeah, well, not equating it to politically speaking, even within, I would say, our area, domain, subsect of a population, we're so scattered unless you're actively working with a coven.
Yeah.
That we're all, and there's so many new ones coming through that try to seek. It's so easy for somebody to blend in anywhere and take advantage of it. That's why even
that's
there's.
true.
Even as tight-knit and as large as we are, we still need to watch out for each other because you don't know who's going to come in and what they're going to say until they've been around for umpteen bajillion years, which I know of 3 or 4 people in this room that have been around that long with this group.
Well, there was several years ago, I did some work with a coven up north, and it was so funny because me and them never went eye to eye on anything because their high priestess, trying to get my brain working in this. Their high priestess was she kept everybody real close. It was like anytime there was anything going on within the group, she wanted to have her say so in it. And then if somebody went against her, it was like she would start trying to get the rest of the coven to make them an outcast for a short period, or
So she
Nancy?
pretended she was God.
Don't choke. Don't choke. It's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Calm
well,
down. Breathe.
I was with a coven, and if you weren't one with everybody else or doing exactly what everybody else was doing, you were considered